Hi everyone. Hi. Today I'm going to do a quick discussion and demo on hem stitching. I I really enjoy um, hem stitching as a technique, and I call it a it's a hand technique on the loom. And a lot of times I use it if I'm doing a scarf and I'm going to have fringe on it, or a blanket with fringe on it. Then I'll do a nice hem stitching and it creates a nice little package for when you're using your fringe twister. It's very neat and tidy, and it's also a great technique for doing some like design features in your weaving, or if you're doing like a tea towel or a dishcloth, it creates like a nice separation between your hem and your working cloth. So I'm going to talk about a few, hello everyone, I'm going to talk about a few books and a few tools that are options that can kind of give you a little touch of what you might need. A lot of the books, if you go through your books and you search in the back for hem stitching, you probably have a few little diagrams to get you going. And I'm also going to release a quick little page diagram tomorrow on hem stitching. So if you need to put it in your binder or your book to kind of give you a hint to get you started, it's a great little tool to have. And there's lots online too. If you search hem stitching, you can get some great little images to help you out. A little story about me and hem stitching is when I first started, so probably for the first 7 years I was weaving, if I hadn't done something with fringe or hem stitching in it, I would still need to pull out my sheet or pull out my book to just give me a refresher on what I had to do for hem stitching. If it's not something that you're using a lot, it will take you a while to remember what to do. So if you are doing hem stitching, it's great to have your book or your little photo, or again, the one that I'm gonna put online tomorrow as a little like hint on how to do it. So this is kind of what my picture is going to look like tomorrow, and I'll fancy it up a little bit, and then you can grab it. Two books that I don't have that are great with, I know I've used them before, our Guild in Lethbridge has copies of them that have great demos on hem stitching, is Learning to Weave by Deborah Chandler and Debbie Redding, and also The Weaver's Companion by Marilyn Murphy. And these are two great books if you're starting to weave, or if you just need some refreshers on items. They're great books to have in your library. Tomorrow I will also put on my Instagram and on my my profile links a list of the books. So if you need to pick any up, check out the library for them, or you're looking to add to your library, I'll give you a list of some great ones that I like. A couple that I have in my library is The Next Steps in Weaving. That's by Patty Graver, and it has a great little diagram in it and a little bit about hem stitching in there. Hem stitching, again, I said, is great for beginning your project with fringe and stuff, and some other reasons why you might want to add it in. This is probably one of my favorite books that I have. Weaving is Creative by Jean Wilson, and she has some great little diagrams in it. And again, she has a great little diagram in there for hem stitching. An older one that you may have in your collection is Frame Loom Weaving, and that's by Jan Redman. And it has some great little photos in it too, and I like this one, has some great techniques like the Weaving is Creative book. And finally, like a newer one that you may have, especially if you're a rigid heddle weaver, it's by Interweave, is the Weaver's Idea book. And it has a really great demo. And what I like about this one, it also has a kind of like a little thing about some what ways you would use hem stitching. And also I really like, I'll show you the picture of it, where she's doing some needle weaving in your hem stitched piece. So that's really fun to have too. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but a lot of times I will use hem stitching on a scarf or an item to kind of create some design features, some little pockets of windows in there. Here's one where I did like the straight hem stitch on it, so all the packages are even, whereas on the bottom one, if you can see it, you can do something crazy and mix and match them. All you need for hem stitching is your loom, your project that you're working on, a needle and some thread, and then some sort of item for separating to put in place if you're doing some pockets or some design features. I really like tape measures for this. They come in a variety of sizes. Here's a skinnier one, a thicker one. What I do on my tape measures at the end, there's always a little bit of extra beside your little end, and you can cut those off. And the reason why you want to cut anything off like that is when you're pulling it out, it just comes out nice and smooth. You can also cut strips of cardboard or use rulers, but the only thing that I kind of recommend is that you use something flat. You don't use like a round cord. The round cord for some reason doesn't pull out as nice as if you use a strip of cardboard or a little strip of wood or a tape measure. I like the tape measure. I have lots of different sizes available. I can roll them up and stick them in my bag or my weaving box to keep everything neat. Whereas like a piece of cardboard or a ruler is a little bit bigger. I can't keep it in my little bag or my little basket beside my project, whereas I can throw in a whole bunch of rolled up tape measures. So I'm going to move my loom, and hopefully you can kind of see what I'm working on. I'll kind of give a little bit more information about what you need. So all I need is I have my ruler, I have my project, I have my weft yarn, and I have my needle. And I don't like I like a blunter tapestry needle for working when I'm doing hand techniques on the loom. So I'm just going to adjust the camera and hopefully you can see. I've done a row of hem stitching here along the hem stitch. So I did 2 shots of contrasting pink, so you can kind of see. I did 2 shots of plain weave, and then I did my little packages. A little hint is if you know the count on your project, and then you can divide it by 3 or 4 or 5, and you're looking for an even number that you want your packages. So I didn't count how many warp threads that I had, and I winged it. So I started with packages of 3, and when you get to the end, I had a package of 2, but it was on my end. You could also put your package of 2 in the middle if you didn't count and you didn't do something even. So this is how to do, like if I was doing a scarf and I was finished my scarf and I wanted to have fringe, I would do my hem stitching. I would measure out how much of a fringe I'd want, and then I would snip it. I would have these neat little packages to fringe twist, or if you wanted to add in, like I have some pink and green going on this, maybe I would want some pink and green in my fringe. Having the little hem stitch package is great. You can slip extra thread into your little packages by looping it over, and it's a great way to add some color in your fringe. Maybe I'll do that as another